Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to be with you. I've been asked to speak on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 24. Before we start to read from Bhagavad Gita, we will glorify the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. Who is the speaker of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna. Krishna is another name. It's called Vasudev. It's not like us, Krishna. He's all-pervading. Vasudev means the all-pervading. Therefore, before reading from Bhagavad Gita, we glorify the speaker with the following words. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, in chapter 3, text 24, I will read the Sanskrit. Utsidiyor ime loka nakoyam karma siddham. Sankarasya sakartasyam upahanyam ima praja. Maybe you can repeat the word for word translation together. Utsideyo would be put into ruin. Ime, all these. Lokaha, the worlds. Na, not. Koyam, I perform. Karma, prescribed duties. Sat, if. Aham, I. Sankarasya, of unwanted population. Cha, and. Karta, creator. Syam, would be. Upahanyam, would destroy. Ima, all these. Praja, living entities. The translation and the purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put into ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So please repeat. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population. And I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So I will read the purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. A Varna Sankara is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. When Lord Shri Krishna descends not naturally, he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the Father of all living entities. And if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is a general disregard of regulative principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan Hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33, 30 and 31 affirms, Naitat samarsayeshatu manasapi yanishvara vinasyat yacharan moksyat yadarudo bijam visam ishvaranam vacha satyam tataiva charitam kvachit tesham yatsvat vacho yuktam buddhimam stat samacharat. One should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. We should always consider the position of the Ishvaras, or those who actually control the movements of the sun and the moon, as superior. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishvaras, who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of swallowing an ocean, but if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. There are many pseudo-devotees of Lord Shiva who want to indulge in smoking ganja, marijuana, and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the acts of Lord Shiva, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo-devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Rasa Lila, or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift Govardhan Hill. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instructions. Nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Lord. I read the verse once again. Utsidiori me lokana kuryam karma sittam sankrasya sakartasyam upahanyam imakacha. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Good. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Shananjala Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chitchetanya Manovistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Shvamrapagadhamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyudapadakam Lam Shirum Vaishnavam Sham Shirupam Jagajatam Sagan Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganadita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Dayosya Padnam Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutali Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Desatarni. Lord Krishna says, I am doing my prescribed duties. In the beginning, he was the son of Nanda Maharaj. And what is their business? Protection of the cows. And what was Krishna doing? He was protecting the cows, herding the cows. That was his business. Of course, later he came to Mathura. And then he was trained as a Kshatriya. Then he did the duties of a Kshatriya. But he has always done his duties. Of course, Jarasandha did not want to fight with Krishna. He said it's not a real Kshatriya, he's a coward man. But Krishna did always his duty. Now, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And he gives different reasons. He said, I'm going to kill my family, I'm going to get sinful reactions. And if I kill my family and I get the kingdom and I get it to enjoy, I will not get enjoyment. So it's sinful, I get sinful reaction, I'm going to hell. And yes, there will be no enjoyment. And then he says, and in this war, millions of Kshatriyas will be killed and there will be so many widows. And they will not be protected anymore. And therefore, they will deviate and there will be Varna Sankara, undesired population, that from a low grade. So Arjuna said, I'm not going to fight. So Krishna said, I don't want to fight because there will be Varna Sankara, the unwanted population. Krishna says, no, yes, if you don't fight, if you don't do your duty, he says in this verse, then there will be Varna Sankara. Because that everyone will stop performing their duties, and that will create Varna Sankara. So Krishna, he changes the argument. But of course, it's important for Kshatriyas to do their duties for everyone. Why is that? But Kshatriya means, I know when I see Lokanath Maharaj explain, I remember how he explained how Kshatriya means that protecting someone from hurt, that was the business of the Kshatriya, to protect others. To protect others against thieves, against aggressors, and so on. And but yeah, he had to do his duty, like a policeman. A policeman, suppose, look, if you have a policeman and he sees someone breaking in a house, and he looks very, very carefully and says, "Oh, I know this person. This is the son from this mother. I know his mother, that she's very dear to me. It's like a relative, her mother. If I'm going to arrest her son will get a criminal record. He will never get a job anymore. And his mother will suffer so much from that." And then the policeman said, "No, I'm not going to arrest this man who breaks in the house." Is that a good policeman?
No.
No, that's not a good policeman. But the same here, that you have the Pandavas and the rest of the Kurus at the other side. You have Duryodhana and his 100 sons. They tried to kill the Pandavas in so many ways. They poisoned Bhima. They tried to burn them in a house of shellac. They took away their wife Draupadi. They took away their legal inheritance, their kingdom, everything they took away. That is in the Artha Shastra. It is said this is aggressors should be killed. And it's defined what an aggressor is. 6 kinds of aggressors. I don't remember them all, but that one who steals one's wife, one who tries to burn one's house, one who steals all one's wealth, and so on. That they should be killed, Arthashastra says. But Arjuna, at least our acharyas say, Arjuna starts to argue with Krishna. And he says, yes, aggressors must be killed, but that's in Arthashastra. In the Dharma Shastras, it is said that you cannot kill a relative. And Dharma Shastra is higher than Artha Shastra. So it's playing the role of a pandit. Therefore, when he surrenders to Krishna, then the first thing Krishna says, a real pandit does not lament neither for the deaf, neither for the living. So, because he tries to play the role of a pandit. But he forgets one thing. Krishna is instructing him. So what's more important than all this Shastra or the words of Krishna? What's more important? It's like a policeman. A policeman is in the middle of the traffic road, and there are traffic lights. But the policeman is regulating the traffic. And a man comes with his car, and the traffic light is red. But the policeman said, no, you come. Who has priority, the policeman or the traffic road lights? The policeman has priority. But then the man said, no, it's red, I am coming here. And that's Arjuna. He said, oh, this Shastra and that Shastra is higher, so I'm not going to do it. But Krishna tells him to do it. So that's an issue. But at the end, he gives so many arguments. How can I kill Dronacharya? He's my guru. Oh Krishna, will you kill Sandipani Muni? How can I kill him? But Krishna becomes very, very heavy with him. He uses words as non-Aryan. He says non-Aryan means, Arjuna, you don't know the values of life. Prabhupada writes in the purport that nobody knows where to apply real compassion. Real compassion is compassion for the soul, not for the body. So this is the first lessons to be learned. And Krishna calls them Klaibyam, impotent, because he doesn't want to fight. Heavy words to say to a Kshatriya. But finally, he surrenders. So that's the point that Krishna makes here. Everyone should do one's duty. Of course, in the Varnashram system, everyone has his duty. 4 Varnas, very clear. One is a Brahmin, or one is a Kshatriya, one is a Vaishya, agriculture and commerce, or if one is not in these categories, one is a Sudra. But in this age, Sudra Sambhava, everyone is born Sudra. Everyone is born Sudra. There are no qualified people anymore like before. That purity is gone through Kali Yuga. So how can we follow this principle of doing our duty? What is our duty? Our prescribed duty. Of course, you have 2 kinds of duties, Krishna says. The prescribed duty is called dharma, svadharma. You have material svadharma and spiritual svadharma. But our spiritual svadharma, our spiritual duties, we have forgotten. What is the svadharma of the soul? Someone knows? Savaipum saparo dharmo yato bhaktira doksya ahait kapateya yatma shubhashidati. Savaipumsa, pumsa means humans. The parodharmo, the highest duty for the humans. Savaipumsa parodharmo. Yato bhaktir adokshe. It is performing devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who cannot be perceived by the senses, adoksaya. Yeah. But that devotional service must be spiritual. To be counted spiritual, it must be ahaituki apatiyata. Must be without motivation, just to please, out of duty. It's prescribed duty. Apatiyata, always, no interruption. And then, Savai Pusa Prodamo Yatobakta Adoksi Ahait Kapatiyata Yayatma Suprashidata. Yayatma, the soul, the Atma, Suprashidati, will feel bliss, ecstasy. So that's our spiritual duty, to serve Krishna without any motivation, identifying ourselves as a spirit soul. Spirit soul is a part of Krishna, is a servant of Krishna. So it's not really that we serve. Everyone is serving in this world, but they are serving materialism, that matter, which is all temporary. So that's our natural situation. So that Prabhupada said dharma. There's no English word for it. They translate it as fate or something. But fate can change. Before I was a Christian, now I'm a Hindu. Okay, I changed. But dharma you cannot change. Dharma means that what does not change. Like sugar is sweet. If sugar is not sweet, is it sugar? No. You can that water is wet. That's the quality of water. You cannot change. We are part and parcels of Krishna as a soul, and we must serve him, connect him. That connection is made by bhakti. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita. But that's our spiritual duty, but that we have forgotten that. And certainly in the beginning, we are not ready to render service out of love for God. No, we want something for ourselves. And Krishna knows that. In the 7th chapter he says, Chatur vidabjantimam yechna sukritaranya arta shikhna sur artarti hyanisha bharatarshava. There are two kinds of people with material desires who approach me. Those who are in distress, like Dhruva Maharaj. He was in distress. Those who want wealth, those who are just curious, and those who want to know the absolute truth and want liberation. All material motivations. In the beginning it's like that. But to come to that spiritual platform, we must first do our material duty. We cannot jump to that. It's not possible. You must first purify yourself. Therefore, we must first do our material svadharma before coming to our spiritual svadharma. And what is this material svadharma? In the Varnashram, these 4 classifications: the intellectual class, the business class, or those who do agriculture, and then the Kshatriyas, those who protect others, and the Sudras, those who assist the others. What is our nature? Because this is a very important teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna repeats that twice in Bhagavad Gita. You must do your own duty and not the duty of others. And that's very important, because we must purify ourselves first by doing our material svadharma to come to the spiritual svadharma. And that connection is done by karma yoga in the beginning. But material svadharma, what is my nature? It is about our psychophysical nature. What's our psychophysical nature? Our psychophysical nature is what you are good in and what you like to do. It's not so difficult. Everyone has something where he's good in. And that's your duty. Some are more intellectual, some want to work with their hands and with their senses. that some are nice teachers, born teachers, but we have all our nature. And our nature means what you are good in and what you like to do. So Krishna says, this Svadharma, material Svadharma, what you are good in, that Shakhnarta Karmanuyatra, he said before, you must do as a sacrifice for me. Do your duty as a sacrifice for me. So, Prabhupada was once, I think it was in England, and a devotee came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, ask me anything you want, I will do it for you. And Prabhupada's reply was, what do you want to do for Krishna? But he said, Prabhupada, it doesn't matter. You ask me what you want me to do, I will do it. And Prabhupada became more serious and said, try to understand our philosophy. What do you want to do for Krishna? And the devotee said, oh Prabhupada, I want to make unbreakable mridangas. And Prabhupada said, yes, do that for Krishna. And he made his glass fiber mridangas unbreakable, that we are still using them today. Well, unbreakable, we may. Some are able to break them, but they are very, he made thousands of them. They are still there. So that's important. What we are good in, we have got to connect it with Krishna. Do it for Krishna. So that is what Krishna says. Yat karus, yat asnas, yat yos dadas, yat apasyas kauntya, tat kushmamat arpanam. Whatever you sacrifice or you do, whatever austerity that you do, whatever you want to give in charity or give away, do it mat arpanam, as an offering to me. And that's the beginning of spiritual life. And therefore, here, Krishna says to Arjuna, you must do your duty, but you must do it. He explained in the previous verse, and Shakhnarta Karmanuyatra Lokayam Karmavana, you have to do your duty as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Krishna is the original Vishnu. So you have to do it for me, that Krishna says. And so that is an important teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. The great kings, they were responsible to everyone, that everyone would be engaged in his prescribed duties, according to his nature. And it was a wonderful society, this Varna ashram. It's not like today. The Kshatriyas would protect everyone. Everyone would be protected, no problem. Today, the cities and so on become more and more dangerous in this society, real dangerous. And it's all over the world increasing this criminality. But in the Vedic times, the Kshatriyas, they were very, very, very strong. It was an autocratic society. But the Kshatriyas, they were working under the direction of the Brahmins. They followed the Brahmins. And the Brahmins, they were giving free education for everyone. Free education. And so nobody had to worry about his education. Education of the children was all provided. And the Vaishyas, they would provide all necessities, all food, everything what was needed, all necessities of life would be put for him were. So there was no problem to get the basic necessities of life. They were there. And it was a peaceful society. It's not that the Kshatriya was more than the Sudra. No, they have a different role. That's externally. But internally, the purpose was they do their materials for Dharma and they become purified. Purified means they becoming purified from lust and from passion and ignorance. Because to become purified, you must do your duty for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna is the purifying factor. So therefore it is said, Karmani Vatakaste Mafalisa Kardachana. Krishna said, you do your prescribed duty without attachment to the results. So that's the first level. We are doing our duty, we don't think of Krishna, but we are not attached to the results. But then the next level, Krishna says, you do your duty and you give the result to Krishna. Okay? We do our duty, we don't think of Krishna, but we know, okay, the result is for him. We will offer it at the altar and that. But then the next level of karma yoga is yat karos yat asnas yat yos datas yat apasyos account yat tat koshvamat arpanam. Then you do the activity itself for Krishna, out of love for Krishna. You do the activity for Krishna and you give the result to Krishna. And then Patram Pushpam Flamtam Yomi Bhaktya Prayachati. You offer, Krishna says, you offer me a flower, a fruit and so on, out of love. That's the next platform, out of love. Then Karma Yoga becomes Bhakti Yoga. So you have these different levels. And going to these levels, you become purified. Because once it is connected with Vishnu, Krishna, your work, you become purified. In Shis Upanishad, Krishna is described as Isha, the controller. Isha Upanishad, the controller. Isha. And there is said Isha, the controller, is antiseptic and prophylactic. Interesting. Antiseptic means purified. So that's the instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, man mana, you think of me. When you think of Krishna, what happens? You become purified from your attachment to this material world. The more you become attached to Krishna, the more you become detached from this world. And Krishna is prophylactic. He acts like a vaccine. A vaccine protects you against infectious disease. But here Krishna acts like a vaccine. When you think of Krishna, you don't think of material things. Nothing, no dirt can come in your mind. Because you think of Krishna, it's occupied. So that is why we should do our duty. We should do like Krishna, he does his duty. And we should also follow in his footsteps, doing our duty. Because if we don't do our duty, if we do we follow this, we don't this Svadharma, and we live just for the pleasure of this body, for these senses. Krishna says then, one who lives just for the pleasure of his senses, lives in vain, lives for nothing. For nothing. That you go to the cycle of birth and death. But when you do this for Dharma, you wake up after some time. Gradually, you come out of illusion by performing your prescribed duties for Krishna. You come out of illusion and you realize, oh, soon I have to leave this body. In previous life I had also a family, children, so many issues, relationship issues, but in this life does it have any meaning in this life? No, it's all gone. So it's all meaningless. What makes it meaningful is that we cooperate with each other in devotional service, so that we make spiritual advancement, that we realize our position as a spirit soul, as a servant of Krishna, and can go back, and then we can go back to the spiritual world. Because what do we want all? We want to love and be loved. Do we attain that in this world? No. Something that may resemble that, but we don't really attain that. But we can attain it by connecting with Krishna. When you develop love for Krishna, like the residents of Vrindavan, you feel always bliss. That if you become attached to Krishna, your material life is finished. Rupa Goswami, he speaks a verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and he said, don't go to Keshigat to see this boy who is bent in three poses, plays his flute. Don't go to see him, because when you see him, you will become attracted to him, and your attachment to your family will be finished. To your attachment to your love and your society, all finished. That you, like the wives of the Brahmins, when the cowherd boys came to beg from them, immediately they because Krishna, they said Krishna is hungry. They started to cook for Krishna and brought so many preparations to Krishna. But then later it appeared, when they went back to their husband, they lost all interest in their husband. Finished. And this husband saw this and said, oh, they changed. They are materially detached. That our wives have become our guru. But yes, if we become attracted to Krishna, we become detached from this world. And we realize that we are not his body. We have an eternal spiritual body, which is there now. But it's covered over, Prabhupada said, with a subtle and a gross body. And that subtle body, because it's contaminated now with passion and ignorance, it contaminates our consciousness. Consciousness comes from the soul. Pure consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. But when it's contaminated with passion and ignorance, we identify with this body. And by coming in contact with Krishna, we become pure again. And we wake up from this dream. And we realize, I'm not this body. I'm not going to die when the body is dying. No. Prabhupada said, dying is like 9 months deep sleep. It means the consciousness is withdrawn into the soul, but it's still there. One is conscious of the soul. And then when Krishna, as a super soul, brings you to the next body, and then you wake up in another body. But hopefully we don't have to do that. If we become completely pure, then this subtle body disappears. Subtle body disappears means it becomes spiritualized. The subtle body has 3 aspects. That manas, thinking, feeling, willing. But that's our material thinking, feeling and willing. In the Bhagavatam 177, the Prabhupada writes, the spirit soul has its own thinking, feeling and willing in the unconditioned state also. As a spirit soul we have our own thinking, feeling and willing. But that spiritual thinking, feeling and willing, this spiritual, which is in the spiritual body, which is the spiritual body, can only be used for Krishna. Therefore, Krishna, when we wanted to come to this material world, has given us a subtle body. Because your spiritual body you cannot use for material activities. So we need to finish this subtle body. Kill it. We don't really kill it, we spiritualize it. How do we spiritualize it? So the body means manas, buddhi, ahankar. The buddhi, the manas we can spiritualize by manmana, by thinking of Krishna. And the buddhi, spiritualizing that we are doing now. We are hearing the Shastra, hearing spiritual knowledge. We purify the intelligence. It takes many years hearing, but it's a slow process, but a certain process. It's like every day I look in the mirror and I see my face, and did I become older than yesterday? You cannot see. But if I look at a picture of 60 years ago, 5 years old, oh, what a change. And not the same anymore. Like that Krishna conscious, every time you hear about Krishna, it's another layer of this dust which is removed of passion and ignorance. Tato jastamova kamala sayasahi seterater anavitam stitvi sattva pashidat. Tato jastamova kamala seterater anavitam stitvi sattva pashidat. Just by hearing about Krishna and following the instructions of the spiritual master, all what is troublesome to the heart is removed, this passion and ignorance. And then one comes to pure consciousness. So when the mind and intelligence is completely purified by hearing about Krishna, by thinking about Krishna, what happens with the ahankar, with the false ego, the idea that I'm the body? It's gone. And when we attain that state, we are liberated. We don't take birth again. But we have to do our prescribed duties. not trying to imitate Krishna, but follow his instructions here. That imitating will not help us. That many so-called so-called incarnations want to have their own rasa dance. But we should ask them, okay, you can have your rasa dance, but first you should lift Govardhan. So they are all false incarnations. But Krishna, he did wonderful things because he has shown us that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great controller, but that we cannot imitate. But we should follow his instructions. Anyway, that is something I could say on this verse. Any question or comments? Good. If there are no questions, thank you very much. Shantara Srila Prabhupada, Shantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna.